Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as well as the vast majority of crypto and finance. And with that being said, I hope that you are all having a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are out there in the world. So as we really look at a few things, right? Specifically regarding what Ripple is trying to do, what they're trying to build, what they're trying to become, I always bring up the idea of infrastructure. Why is infrastructure such a big deal? Why is it something that I fully focus on? Well, it's because as we really look at mass adoption and we gauge on where we are going to be headed in terms of mass adoption, I look at the underlying layers. And when we look at the underlying layers, they are going to be the ones that dominate majority of the volume and the value that is moving in this new world of finance that is being crafted through these major infrastructure players like, for example, Medico. And the reason why I bring up Medico is because I've always said that Medico is infrastructure. Now, there was a great event recently, and it was called Crypto Valley Conference, Web3 Banking Symposium. And XRP Drops put out a few posts regarding this, and they're actually great insights. There's a fully edited video that provides us with pretty much everything we need to know regarding this. But we have a few discussions here, specifically from an individual at Ripple, and it's all about interoperability and standardization. Interoperability, especially within the banking system, has been a recurring topic. The panelists also emphasized the importance of standardization, agreeing that gradually establishing standards for custody, trading, and liquidity providers is essential. Then we also have this. Now, maybe the most interesting part, actually, the Web3 banking landscape. And this is also an individual from Ripple. And we also have Web3 Banking Symposium in Geneva. Check this out.
Now maybe the most interesting part about actually Web3 banking landscape. Again, quick disclaimer, I'm very limited with the space of the slide. On the right side, you can see some logos. There are many other companies. So there are 5 layers when we speak about the landscape. Again, at the bottom of this chart, you see legal advisors. So professional companies already spent years analyzing this modern technology, regulation, spent years in communication with different regulators in order to provide companies who'd like to join the space with solutions, already available solutions, how to start it, how to be compliant, right? So here in this room, we have PwC, we have MME, but of course, guys, there are many other companies also working with this layer of the landscape. So second part is about technology providers, right? So there are many companies who are building professional solutions for every single piece of technology needed. For example, if we speak about custody, so we can go to Medico, right? We can go to Ledger, we can go to Taurus, and some other companies. So these guys already spent years, invested millions in the development of custody solutions. There is no need to reinvent the wheel, right? So when it comes to blockchain analysis, forensic tools, and AML compliance, there are already available professional solutions, and again, represented in this room. So I'm speaking about Elliptic and ScoreChain. Again, I'm limited, but at least these 2 companies we have in this room today. So sums up, if you need an automated KYC AML tool, there are already available solutions such as SumSub. Again, we have some guys from SumSub here today in the room. So going next layer is about fintech companies, financial intermediaries, and exchanges. I would say that maybe this is the most agile layer because these kind of companies are collecting all the customer demand, being one of the first, aggregating all the technology providers and building ready-to-use solutions. In some cases, it's some kind of a plug-and-play solutions. In some cases, it's some kind of white label solutions. And again, just a few illustrations. So Montpellier, Yapil, Kraken is an example of exchange, and eHodler. So going next, very important layer, and we are very lucky in Switzerland because we have fully crypto-native, digital-native banks such as Signum and Amina. So these companies already spent again, years in the building of technology, convincing regulators, structuring everything, and finally building fully regulated banks, but at the same time fully blockchain native, right? And of course, on the top of this chart, we see traditional banks. Again, the list is not complete, but PostFinance, Zuger Cantonal Bank, St. Galler Cantonal Bank, Raiffeisen Bank Austria, and many others. And in the most cases, again, their blockchain offering, digital assets offering, is based on collaborations with other layers of this chart, from bottom to top. So, my point.
Now, when we really look at this chart, and as he is talking about how things are changing around the landscape of banking, there's crucial layers to this. And, you know, I kind of mentioned this as well when it comes to what Hedera is becoming, right? The trust layer for this new world that's being created. And it's all based around Web3, right? A better way to look at it, instead of the future of finance, this is pretty much the future of everything. Pretty much every single sector, industry out there will be running on this type of technology, because this is Web3. We're moving from Web 2 to Web 3. The Internet of Value is directly a part of Web 3. But again, as we look at this list, there's a image actually that got posted by Chad Steingraber regarding this, and we could actually see the Web3 banking landscape. Traditional banks, digital asset banks, fintechs, and financial intermediary exchanges, and then technology providers, and then legal advisors. And you can see that Ripple and Medico are actually under the technology providers. And we have the new Web3 banking landscape consists of several layers of entities, and the bottom layer is the technology providers. These tech providers actually become relatively invisible to the end user. And this is exactly what I have been addressing when it comes to these tech providers, right? Because mass adoption is going to happen, and the best part about it is that nobody's going to know what technology they're using. Mass adoption is achieved through tech that nobody knows about. For an example, with the internet, HTTP, nobody knows about that. We've addressed this in the past when it comes to quant as well, right? The underlying tech stack is so crucial, and it's extremely valuable. A lot of people don't realize how valuable that underlying tech stack actually is because they don't know about it. They don't even realize that it's there. And this is what gets me very excited about what Ripple is building with Medico. And by the way, yes, they are still utilizing XRP. I see a lot of people saying like, oh, well, Medico doesn't even utilize XRP. They do. We know this from the reports and from what we've read regarding Medico and Ripple. But this proves to me that Ripple and XRP and Medico, technically Ripple and Medico, they're kind of under the same umbrella because Medico is acquired by Ripple. So I always look at Medico as basically Ripple anyways. But this proves to me that they will be a crucial piece for this new world because, again, this is a banking conference essentially. But also over here, we have Web3 Banking Symposium by Ripple, Medico. Awesome contributions by Katrin Kohler from Ripple, Medico, all edited together. Topics, importance of change management by banks in the adoption of DLT to overcome operational hurdles. Key management, custody and governance level. Connectivity between custody and the traditional financial world. Eliminate a single point of failure. Connectivity between the different silos. The specialization and provision of services by the various players. The necessity of regulatory frameworks. Check it out.
Thank you. I'm coming from Ripple, Medico, and we are providing solutions and infrastructure for financial services mostly for companies which want to go into the digital asset space. And I specifically focus on the product side of Medico, where we are providing custody infrastructure. Just to add to that, I think when I look from an operational perspective as a bank, it's also important to look at it from a what does actually change on an operational and technical level, because digital assets work differently than traditional assets. And to understand through education, but also to find out, okay, which processes, which IT landscape items do I actually need to change? Where do I need to change certain things or also change roles and responsibilities to be able to process digital assets? For example, because you don't have a T+2 settlement anymore after a trade. Just those operational hurdles to actually overcome and also lose the fear to actually tackle that. If we think about security from a custody perspective, I think we can also divide it into different layers. The first layer can certainly be key management, because it's the piece which is very special to digital assets, and you want to make sure that your keys are extremely secure. But then on top, you also have a governance layer where you can define what approval levels do you need, what access levels do you need, what do you want to put in place as an institution in terms of security to access the keys and to use the keys to move your assets. Maybe on a side, if I paint a picture of that, you also have a lot of connectivity from custody to the external world. Thinking about the external world as blockchains, thinking about the external world as trading venues or any other third-party service. You want to make sure that those connectivities are extremely secure and that data is not being manipulated or changed or getting lost in transition when you are moving it to a different component. And I think the last piece, which is probably nearly the most important but often a bit neglected, is you also want to make sure if you have an extremely secure setup and you have defined all your governance procedures and everything, you want to make sure that you don't have a single point of failure, someone who can actually just go and change the rules or go and create his own direct access to the keys, so that you also eliminate this super admin problem on top of that.
Sorry, Catherine, you wanted to add something?
I think it also shows a little bit where we do have still the challenge in today's digital asset world, right? We have lots of silos which are not seamlessly connected. So for a bank to choose what to do and to decide where to go is difficult because of that as well.
You want to go next?
Sure. Looking at it from maybe just a different angle, but to the same problem, today we still have a lot of fragmentation because we don't have the standards yet, we don't have everywhere the regulatory framework, but getting there, having more and more jurisdictions which are looking at, okay, how do we actually also align to other continents or other countries in how we build up the framework. I think with more and more institutional adoption, we also see more and more that not everyone is doing everything anymore from the full value chain, but that you have more specialization along the value chain, that not everyone will cover the full life cycle, or not everyone will build up every capability required for everything, but that we have more and more also service provision amongst each other, which then goes back to we need connectivity between the different players to actually make it a functioning ecosystem which can be successful. Yeah, I mean, it goes back to banks or regulated institutions can't just do anything in a decentralized fashion, right? You first need a framework, you need the regulation, you need the proper procedures and risk mitigation actions around it. So I think there are still a few steps we have to do before we can go into that world.
Now, just like she said there, right, like there still needs to be a few more steps taken, but regardless, the steps are being taken. We're getting closer and closer to that point. Now, I get it, right? Like nobody wants to wait. Nobody wants to be patient. It's something that I've mentioned many times when it comes to XRP. I get that everyone hates waiting because we're sitting here and we're like, when is XRP going to move? When is XRP going to do anything notable? And like I said, XRP, my main price prediction this bull run is $5 to $10. Anywhere within that range is perfect. But that might be small to most people. But remember, right? Like we're not in that utility market yet. We're not at mass adoption. We're not at major scale use of any of these, major currencies within this space. So as we really think about that, as we really address that, XRP from like the $20, $30, $40, $50, $100 plus levels, we're probably still some time away from that. But that doesn't mean that XRP is a bad investment overall technologically, because again, the tech stack's still there, the use case is still there, utility is still there, and a lot of these crucial steps are still being taken. And I really look at Medico, right? And I look at when it got fully announced that Ripple was acquiring Medico, and look at the words that Brad Garlinghouse and also Monica Long, the president of Ripple and the CEO of Ripple, we have thrilled to welcome Medico. And also the CEO, he recently stepped down, actually, Adrian Trasani. Again, that's a crucial thing because He was the founder of Medico. He stepped down to allow Medico to be fully acquired by Ripple and let Ripple take the lead. But we have, as Ripple expands into custody, a key part of crypto infrastructure, we'll be able to support customers with the technology to custody, issue, send, and settle any type of tokenized asset. And the best part about this is, how are they going to settle any of those tokenized assets? Well, XRP is the crucial piece for that puzzle. But we also have, this is massive, Ripple and Medico already share a focus on enterprise utility, regulatory compliance, and a global first mindset that will help us deliver the best possible experience to our institutional customer base around the world. Coming out of one of the coldest crypto winters yet, I'm incredibly bullish about Ripple's trajectory. Every day we're thinking about the long-term opportunity of crypto utility, putting our money, minds, behind that mission and partnering with folks who share that vision. And also from Monica, we have, with our acquisition of Medico, Ripple is diving headfirst into the global institutional custody market and adding another key capability to our crypto native infrastructure services, along with payments, liquidity, and tokenization. And we also have over here a screenshot from the Medico website. Deploy ambitious digital asset use cases with the most secure and versatile core platform for institutional digital asset management. You have everything all under one package. This, to me, screams infrastructure layer. And I've talked about this 100 times already, but when we hear all of this, it gets me extremely excited for the future, because all of the major landscape is there in front of you. Every single layer is there, and Ripple and Medico are key pieces of that tech stack, and the infrastructure layer is going to see majority of the volume and value moving over. Now, does that mean that Medico and Ripple are only going to be the ones on there? Absolutely not. There's going to be a ton of great companies under that. And I do believe that XRP is going to be extremely valuable in the future because of this, but there's so many other great projects as well that you need to focus on within this space as well, which I do report on the channel. But when we really look at what's happening, guys, the revolution is already underway. Steps are being taken. There's still a few steps to be taken, but we're getting there. And that's very exciting to me. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.